Hey guys, Dan here with another graphic novel review. It's called My Favorite Thing is Monsters, Book 1 by Emil. I apologize if I mispronounce the name, Emil Ferris. I'm saying this is a graphic novel because it doesn't appear to be an ongoing series, and especially with the format, it's really like a college textbook. It's rather quite bulky. And I got a lot to say about this. I don't understand why it's called Book 1, because I have a feeling that this is a one-shot. It doesn't really read like there's going to be a Book 2. It doesn't feel like there is a continuation to this. The way it ended rather abruptly and kind of strange. But let's get on to other things about this. I kept seeing this pop up on Goodreads. It kept showing up as a recommendation. I know there's a lot of hype surrounding this book. I think it got voted for Best Graphic Novel of 2017. And yes, all the hype is legit. It is very good. Just by the cover alone, the cross-hatching and color usage on this is beautiful. So everyone knows, and I gotta be careful what I share with you guys, because this is a mature readers only graphic novel. There's a lot of stuff that it's not okay for kids to see. There's a mature subject matter. There's a lot of nudity, discussions of sex, violence, stuff like that. But anyways, it is about a little 9-year-old or 10-year-old girl named Karen Reyes. And she wants nothing more than for her and her family to become monsters. She's the little girl who at school she's called a freak. And she gets picked on. And she's different. And I won't reveal too much about her because I kind of feel like it's kind of spoilerish if I say too much about her. It's kind of something you'd have to read for yourself to find out other things that are odd about her. Or what back in the 60s was considered odd, because this does take place in 1960s Chicago. But yeah, she's obsessed with monsters. She gets like these, the horror comics from her older brother, so that's why she had this is supposed to be an illustrated journal of hers. And yes, I think that this is beautiful. The fact that you're trying to take a story and you're telling it through a journal with pictures, it's a brilliant idea. But the one major problem I have with that is that no 10-year-old kid draws that well. I say this because myself, I have an art background. I could draw pretty good for a 10-year-old when I was 10, but I could nowhere draw near as good as this. So it's kind of inconsistent, and I know a lot of people who don't have an art background are really going to overlook that. They're really going to overlook that. But one of the things I really appreciated about this was I really thought it was kind of cool that the author, artist, she kind of tried to school people who were reading this on art. Like, she gave like a little art lesson, and she was talking about composition, and she features, some lesser known paintings from an art museum. So I thought that was really cool. She's kind of trying to, educate people about art. But this book is a book full of metaphors. It has a lot of different things. You really have to look at all of the subtleties of it. The title kind of hints at monsters, but like one of the main metaphors of this book is that there are real monsters, not just imaginary monsters that the child is obsessed with. There's a tale about, it's kind of like a subplot, I guess you would say, of the book. There's a lot of little subplots going on, and I don't want to talk about too many of them, but I think the one I'm going to tell you is mentioned on the cover. The upstairs neighbor has been found dead, and it kind of rather looks really suspicious. And they go into the kind of the background of that person, and she's talking about World War II and the horrors of the Holocaust. So it's like little things like that kind of, is another metaphor for monsters. I thought was really cool and interesting. Also, the bullies that she encounters daily. I thought that was kind of cool. And I've seen other reviews of this book, and I don't recall people mentioning that aspect of the book, that the book is full of metaphors like that. I think a lot of people were just like literal. It's just like, oh, it's a little girl who's obsessed with monsters, and it's beautiful. Beautifully drawn artwork. Aside from the fact that it's not believable that a 10-year-old kid could draw these pictures. It's just that it was good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's the only downside I found, and except for the way it ended abruptly, I really felt like it didn't really answer any of the questions you kind of had while reading the book. Like, because I mean, they kind of slip what happens to the upstairs neighbor, but then it just kind of gets even weirder, and they don't really elaborate on that aspect, and then it just ends. And then you're just kind of like, you're just ending reading this book like, what the fuck was that? But, yes, it is very beautifully drawn. It is full of metaphors. I mean, you'll definitely get something out of this. I wish I owned a copy of this. I might end up purchasing a copy of this for myself, just because if you look at all the imagery, there's sometimes a lot of like little hidden things, like there's things in the eyeball. There's like a lot of little details, like you can't just flip through this thing. And yes, it is massive, but not every page is full of text, and like it's not overly wordy, but you really have to pay attention to the pictures. Not only just the telling of the story, but pay attention to the words, because sometimes there's a lot of little hidden imagery. There's things written on the sides of the pictures. A lot of detail went into this. I did enjoy this very much. The hype is real. I did rate this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I didn't feel that it deserved a 5-star rating just because, like I said, I don't believe that a 10-year-old child could draw this well. A cross-hatching and the details, no 10-year-old kid can draw that well. Maybe if the artist had trying to dumbed it down a little bit so it did look more like a kid drew the thing, then yeah, I think it would be more believable in that aspect. But then it probably wouldn't be as hyped as it is. I'm hoping to find other things by this artist. Maybe they're gonna. It says they plan on releasing more graphic novels. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. I definitely would recommend checking this out, but yet again, I have to remind you, it is mature subject matter, so kiddies, it's not for you. This is published by Image Comics, too, I do believe. I think it's an Image comic. Yeah, I even like how it's kind of like this. It's kind of like got the flap like it's a... But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, for sure. Oh, it's Fantagraphics books, so I was wrong. It's not Image Comics. It's a graphic novel company all on its own. Fantagraphics. Yep, Fantagraphics. So it is not an Image Comics. It's Fantagraphics. But yeah, the hype is real. Definitely, this is worth checking out. It is what it is. If you've read this, let me know what your thoughts are on it down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. I will have a link down below to purchase a copy of this for yourself. Because I'm not getting AdSense from YouTube, every little bit, it adds up and it counts. If you just use the link to purchase books or anything through that link, I get a small percentage of that, and it really helps me out as my channel, and helps me to grow and stay afloat, I guess you could say. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, later.